Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where I was just looking around, as I tend to do at the beginning of a new recording session, and I just happened to scroll up here and I was like, whoa, when did this happen? Apparently, we successfully landed in Cuba on the second go. I don't know when exactly this happened. It may have been a while ago. We need to have these guys set to offensive line up to here. So I don't think we need more than this, judging by what they have arrayed against us. And we should be able to tell them to just go and deal with Cuba. So that should, in theory, be fine. Now, I do want to get started on additional naval base progress down here. And I also want to get some land forts going there. But otherwise, great. I don't know why this happened, though. They must have pulled forces out of here. And this definitely happened during last episode while we were focused down here. This just worked. Okay, I did not expect that to happen. Now, I want to check in what's going on down here. Looks like these guys are still preparing. Okay, that seems absolutely fine. So we've got this infantry division. It goes here. Perfect. I'm rather startled by this, but there were 26 units here previously, right? Or 22. One of those two, if I recall correctly. And they were all clustered here. They must have been removed and brought to reinforce this area, because there's a lot more units down here now. And they appear to be gone from here. So we'll definitely take that. I'm very pleased with that. I'm just slightly surprised. We'll see what ends up happening here. Yeah, cutting off these guys is great. I like this plan. Although I don't necessarily like what we've got going on here. Specifically, what I don't like is that these guys are set up in the way that they are. Yeah, all of our units walked over here. That's not great. Hopefully we arrive here before they do. Okay, we did. Good. I was very concerned about that for a moment. All of our units went up here. Okay, I'm going to tell these guys to frontline here rather than here. And then they are going to offensive line up here as before, while these guys are dealing with the back line. Now, as far as all of this goes, it's fine for now. We'll continue to let that go. I'm actually going to be a little more focused on Cuba for right now. So that seems good. I'm going to select half of these divisions, and I'm going to tell them to attack here. The other half is going to attack here. Perfect. We're looking to stack wipe these and get this all cleaned up. So that looks absolutely great. No problem whatsoever there. In the meantime, we're just pushing our way up Cuba. So that seems absolutely great, and we are ready to attack in over this way and get all of these guys stack wiped, clearing up this back line. Perfect. This is going extremely well once we manage to get a land hold here, which was expected. They also don't seem to have any tanks, which is the weakness of our Marines. So that all looks good. There's this Mountaineer template that can get sorted out, no problem. And then back in Cuba, that is now stack wiped. So all of these units are going to make their way on up over here. Apparently they can't find a path to their objective. Okay. Their objective is literally right here. Just make your way up. Okay. That seems good. So Havana's about to fall, and Cuba's probably going to capitulate here as soon as Havana falls. Remarkably, they didn't. There they go. Okay, perfect. So we're just going to make our way in over here. Stack wipe that, get this last location, and Cuba has capitulated. That is perfect. So we're continuing to work our way through the last little bit of Amazon here, and we're winning this attack. We estimated it'll last less than a day. Okay, we're also attacking up over here. That looks good for now. I want to make sure that this is all under our control, and indeed it is. Now we're going to need to start getting ourselves another unit to defend the coastlines of our American holdings over here. I'm wondering, these guys up here are part of this unit. Okay, that's probably going to remain the case. So I'm going to create ourselves a new reserve force here. And we apparently can't create any more. Oh, it goes up here now. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely okay. And we want these guys to be doing area defense, and we're going to have them be out over here. So, I mean, this is going to be, you know, fairly difficult to hold, but that's absolutely fine. And then we'll have them do Cuba as well as Puerto Rico, and then they could also come down over here and get these areas dealt with. Cool. So something kind of along the lines of that. Minimum divisions of 63 right now. It will be a little bit higher because they're going to need to grab these areas as well. But sure, that seems absolutely okay. So I'm going to put that here for the moment. Now, I would kind of like to move these guys into a new theater, and I need to try to remember how to do that. It's like this. Okay, so we're going to call this our reserve theater. Perfect. And with that done, I'm now going to hop back into the Russian theater here. We're going to take all of these reserve armies, and those are going to go into the reserve theater, like this. There's additional reserve armies here, of course, and that is these armies. They're going to go in there as well. Okay, cool. So that looks fine for the moment. That will definitely clean things up a bit for us. No doubt about that. So checking in over here, we're still estimating that this battle will last for a while. Okay. We're still having some supply issues up in this area. This is a supply hub, so taking that would be absolutely phenomenal. And I do want these guys to start thinking about a naval invasion from here to here. There we go. We'll get them started on that. I don't expect that to go off for a while. 126 days, to be precise. So that'll be absolutely fine. We'll continue pressing in from the south here, but I would really like to get this north area taken care of. This division is going to go here. There we go. That'll be absolutely fine. And taking a look down this way, yeah, this seems relatively okay. There should be no problem whatsoever here. This is just a stalemate, as expected. And that is exactly what we want. Up here, things are a little bit grimmer. No doubt about that. So these guys are supposed to be aggressively executing the battle plan. There's just not enough organization here to advance. So that is definitely stalemating over here as well for a bit. Now, we could do something about it, like, for example, be doing some bombing in this area. We don't have any bombers. So for the moment, there's not a lot we can do on that front. What we could do, however, is check to see what the air situation is up over here. There is no air situation. Okay, nobody is doing anything with relation to air. So that seems fine. I want to grab any divisions that are assigned here. And I'm going to get them started doing a bit of an offensive line up here as well. So it'll be something kind of like this. It doesn't really matter. They can get started on that. But there's not a lot of infantry units over here. There's only 8 infantry units. And that seems like a low number of infantry units, but most of our infantry are holding this line, and that is reasonably fine for the moment. Sweden wants to do a lend-lease. We will decline that. We don't require their equipment. Okay, so that is all looking good. We've got 24 days here. These guys should have executed. Yes, they did. Fantastic. So their plan has been completed. The next thing that we could definitely think about doing is coming and attacking out over here. That is definitely something that we could do. We could launch from here and attack down this way and take that Spanish territory. That is definitely an option. And to that end, I'm going to tell these guys that they want to also area defense here, just so that we have that under control. Were there any other Spanish territories out over here? I believe so. Yeah, that's Spain, and this is Spain out here. And I think that's everything that Spain holds. So, to that end, I want to grab these guys and area defense these areas as well. So, one here, and that does cover all of that. Fantastic. And then that was it for Spain? What about this? This is Spanish. Okay. That looks good. Is that covered? Yes, it is. Fantastic. Are you Spanish? No, that's the British Raj. Cool. So something along the lines of this should do just fine. No problem whatsoever there. So let's check in on how we're doing in the north in Brazil here. This is pretty much a stalemate at this point. We have to cross these 2 rivers into this... Is this hilly and jungle territory? It's considered just jungle. Okay. So that is still going to be complicated, of course. Not enough manpower or equipment to fulfill our garrisons. We're lacking a truck. Actually, they want to provide us trucks. Sure, we'll accept trucks. It's only 11 trucks, and we may want to start upping our production of truck in that case. So we could bump this up to 5 and toss 5 additional military factories at it. Not that we actually have those military factories to toss in for the moment. But that seems reasonably fine. Now, we could certainly get ourselves a region-wide industrial integration, and I'm going to do that. We could also do an industrial land appropriation that will reduce our stability and our war support, which I don't really want to do at this time. So this will be fine as is. Now, we can get started on a military factory somewhere out over here. Is this within our territory? Yes, it is. Okay, so that is the one that we just got. Fantastic. That seems good. And we're going to be launching this attack eventually. If we hop back into our war theater here, we can see that these guys are going to be launching in 30... Well, they're currently at 33 out of 126 days. That's going to launch in the eventual times. So I want these guys to head over here. And I want to prepare a naval invasion. Not that we have any navy over here right now, but I want to prepare a naval invasion out over here. Like this. And they can get started on that, but we don't have any navy over here right now. We can pull this navy that is currently here, and apparently we have 2 units doing things here. We can pull that over to the Bismarck Sea, and that'll be absolutely fine. Let's get going on that one. Fantastic. So at this point, we just need to dislodge these guys. A nuke would do the trick, but we need a strategic bomber for that, and that sounds like work. So there's no doubt about that. We can start to work on cleaning up these Spanish holdings out over here. I'm wondering, is anyone controlling any of these islands that we currently are at war with? Great Britain? That's Great Britain. That's Great Britain. Okay, so looks like the answer to that is a solid no. That is absolutely fine. Now, out over here, we do have a naval base here. We're going to need a naval base as soon as this autosave is over, here. So we'll get started on that. These guys absolutely need a way to get out of there. So we'll get started on that as soon as we can. Now, out over here, supplies are mediocre at best. This supply hub is overwhelmed at this moment. I think we kind of... I don't like doing this, but I think we have to build a supply hub up here and one here, potentially. So let's get going on that for now. And we should probably work on motorization levels for some of these as well. But we'll get there. So this armored division is going to go into this reserve force, right? No, it's not this reserve force. This reserve force. Yes. Okay. Sounds good. We should change around these orders, though. So... Oh, it's already changed here, but not here. These are in different orders. That's a little bit awkward. Okay. That's noted. It's definitely going to be strange. Sure. So we're continuing to fend off attacks over here. This is absolutely fine in the south. In the north, we might want to consider pulling tanks and attacking the south. It's an interesting option for sure. I want these guys to go into this force. There we go. That'll be fine. So we would pull the tanks out here. I have a feeling if we do that, there would be too few defenders in this area, and this would not stalemate. They would push us back. That's the theory. So I kind of want to launch this attack first. That will guarantee cut off any Brazilian supply flow. So they'll be operating just off of what's in Venezuela, and they'll have to pull forces from this front and defend this area from our Marines. That will give us the opportunity to attack in here, and around that same time, we should be finishing up these supply depots, which will be very, very useful for us. So our supply hub is currently 16% completed. We're expecting that to be done at 16 July and 17 July for these two respectively. So that seems relatively good there. And as far as when these guys are going to launch their attack, that is going to be in pretty much 60 days here. So about 2 months. So it'll be in June. Okay. So that will happen. Then these will pull back, presumably. And then these guys will get their supplies done and will be able to push in. That's the theory. We'll see if that theory is real. For now, this unit's going to go in here. That'll be okay. We have empty shipyards? Okay. Well, that's not super shocking, all things considered. This is reasonably fine. I think if this attack doesn't succeed in causing the collapse of Venezuela, then we'll think about rethinking where our tanks are deployed. Because this choke point is not fantastic. We could actually pull one or more units of tank without pulling all of the tank. We could pull 2 units of tank, these 2, in theory, and have them come down over here. But we can't, we would have to have them both frontline this entire distance. They'd be spread very thin. I don't think that's actually all that useful, but the supplies up here aren't useful either. So that's a concern. We have resistance to occupation. Where is this? This is up in Cuba. Okay, so that's definitely something to think about. We can use our intelligence agent. Okay, yeah, we'll become the spy master. That seems fine. We could work on our Air Force department, and we can use our operative here to work on something down over here. We have no intel network in Cuba, obviously. I need to remember, yes, we do this. So an intel network is required. So we'll have to build an intel network. We can't do that in Cuba. Okay. So we need to root out resistance in Cuba here. That's what we're going to do. So that sounds good. This infantry division can go here. Excellent. So that seems fine for the moment. We're not really attacking very heavily out over this way, and that is just due to supplies. It is very, very difficult to get supplies, to get enough supplies in here to attack this. No doubt about that. How are we doing on this? Okay, we're about 40 days away from this attack occurring. Sounds good. I want to check in on the status out over here. If we manage to make our way here, not yet. We're traveling though. Okay, we're going around Africa. That'll be fine. We are going to clean up these territories relatively quickly. So we attack here, and then there are these areas out over here. This is Western Australia that owns this. Western Australia is, of course, not us. So that is a bit problematic. Do we hold anything out over here? The answer is no, so we'll have to control 2 sea zones to attack here, and then 2 sea zones to attack here. And here, which is not necessarily ideal, but I guess that's okay. So supplies are definitely a problem. Yeah, we have bases in low supply in the Caribbean. That isn't shocking at all. So we're continuing to do some attacks out over here, but this is almost entirely supply limited. That is okay. We're going to have these supplies done fairly soon, 16 July. I would have preferred to not build the supply depots here, but it's clear that that is necessary. Although some of these forces will likely get pulled back when we launch this attack on Zulia, because this is their only naval base. So that is something to keep in mind here. That'll be launching in about 22 days. So that looks good. We've got another unassigned division here. This is just an armored division. So that ends up going... Was that here? Yes. Fantastic. So that seems fine for the moment. There's, of course, also this little bit of Spanish territory here that we should probably consider occupying. And that would be these guys that would be responsible for area defending that. We'll just toss that in there for now. Once this invasion is done, if this causes the collapse of Venezuela, then we can have these guys attack here, and that seems absolutely fine. We can continue to work on upgrading our intelligence agency, and that's okay too. So that looks absolutely fine for the moment. I want to check in on this invasion. Okay, 12 days. Very, very soon. Sounds good. Next up, we can definitely do another region-wide industrial integration. That'll be okay. All looks good there. Now, these guys, I'm hoping to see them withdraw some of these infantry divisions. They have large numbers of entrenched units in these areas, and it is challenging for us to break through. We are only about a month at this point away from... It looks like we've been attacked in this area. It's been delayed by about 10 days. But we are about a month away from finishing up these 2 supply hubs, which will help matters. Probably not going to motorize them right away. Speaking of which, I'm wondering, are these hubs back here that are motorized but aren't actually doing anything, are they using trucks? They are using trucks. Okay. So we can unmotorize some of these to save some trucks. That's noted. I don't think it's strictly necessary right now, even though we did have a shortage of trucks. I think it's fine. So we're launching this naval invasion at this point. We'll see how this goes. It's going very well. Going incredibly well. We're going to push them out, and there we go. We've now controlled the naval base in Zulia. I want to build a land fort here, and I want to extend this naval base up to level 10. Okay, now what we want to do is, are any of these units pulling out? They're not. Okay, well, in that case, we're going to establish an offensive line up here, and Caracas will fall. They pretty much have to do this. So we could grab Amphibious to get extra marine supply grace. Or we can get shore bombardment bonus. We're kind of not using either of these. I'm going to go for the supply grace, and that'll be relatively fine. So we're just going to push in with our marines over here, and this may cause them to pull back troops. They are moving troops at this time. Okay, that is good. We want them to move troops back. So that is absolutely A-okay. And we're going to continue to press in over this direction. This is definitely an existential threat for them. So that is looking absolutely great. It is currently 1 July, and these supply hubs will be completed eventually. 19 July now, and 22 July. Those moved up a little bit. Okay, I didn't expect that, but that seems absolutely fine. We have these divisions ready to be assigned. We'll put them in right here. No problem whatsoever. And this is definitely working. They've pulled back some forces here. I don't like the fact that all of these units are right here right now. Okay, they're moving this way with some of the units. That's good. That is definitely good. Yeah, get them pushed out of there. So that'll be fine, and passive defense has finished up. We're going to continue to work on that passive defense to boost our counterintelligence. And I want to see when exactly these supply hubs are going to be finished, because that is going to be a seismic change in what's going on in the south. In the north, of course, we've got this invasion here. Oh, I don't like... Okay, we do have units moving in. They're just being delayed by this tank. That's very rude. Okay. That's incredibly rude that these guys are just repeatedly attacking like this. Okay. Well, that's going to keep us a bit busy up in the north. So that is reasonably fine, but we don't need the north to succeed. That is just a distraction, remember. So we need 20 July and 23 July here. So we just need the north to keep them busy for a little bit, and it looks like we have got this spread out relatively nicely. Now, supplies are a bit grim up over here, but they will come through Zulia, so I want to make sure that this naval base is, in fact, motorized. There we go. So we're going to get some amount of supply flow through this. They're repeatedly attacking here. That's reasonably fine. It's 20 July right now. So one of these supply hubs is done. The other one is not. It will be done on 23 July, which is 22 and 23. Now it is complete. Okay. So that is good. I want to check in on the overloading status. Oh, this isn't activated yet? Okay, there we go. So 6 out of 15 here. This is at 45 out of 29 on just this hub. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit grim. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. This is overloaded, but it's not as overloaded as this one was. So that's better, anyway. So supplies will improve a little bit over here, but it's mostly just organization issues, right? We can't advance here due to lack of supply. So I think what we need to do is we have to pull at least 2 units of tank out. I'm going to pull these guys out, and we're going to tell them to frontline down over here. They can get assigned to that. And I'm going to tell this unit to pull out as well. So we're going to tell them to come frontline over here also. There we go. So we're going to pull them out of here. And in theory, that will significantly help our supplies. We're going to go via rail, and we should be able to get out of there pretty quickly. So with that in mind, this is now at 49 out of 29, 48. Okay. I would like to see perhaps another unit of tank pulled out of here. Where are you guys going? You're attacking up over here? Okay, they are winning that attack, in theory. So that seems fine. We've taken a little bit more territory with our Marines here. These guys really need to get up here, though. We don't want to lose this territory. Why are you sitting back here? You shouldn't be. So we're going to make our way up this way. Why are you sitting here? This is not at the front line. Get up to the front line. That would be great. And then we've got these guys here having just taken this victory point. Okay. I want to grab half of these units and have them attack here. And I want to grab one of these units and come in here. Beautiful. So that'll be fine for the time being. And we can get these guys eliminated. No problem there. Okay. So that looks solid. We're currently heading up in these areas. These Marines are needing some micro, no doubt about that. This is now stack wiped, so that is absolutely perfect, and these guys are going to head up to here, getting control over this airbase. I like it. We only need one of these units to be going this way. The rest of these, I'd kind of like to attack Caracas with, although maybe not this unit, because I want Caracas to fall. So that'll be fine. Our attack in the north is being quite successful, to be honest. So that's looking good. Passive defense continues to finish up here, but it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, Venezuela is almost certainly going to fall. I think that there's no way that they can hold our attack in the north. The attack in the south is proving more successful now, although it's still a little bit grim to try to push through this area. That's okay. I feel like we have this pretty solidly under control. Caracas is about to fall. Will Venezuela capitulate with that? Probably not, but we'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.